Did you guys see PSX that was on the last couple of days?
Not yet.
Oh, there was a little bit of a hint saying that you might be able to change your PSN ID within the next year or so. What do you think about that?
Ooh, I don't need to. I wasn't 12 when I made mine.
Yeah, that's same goes with me. I was an adult and put a lot of thought into it when I started mine.
As terrible as it sounds, I was in my 20s.
So I think it's really a breath of fresh air for those people that might have been 15 at the time and thought Pussy Slayer 6969 was a great idea. Yes, so they might be able to change it to something a little bit more tame, like Xbox sucks or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that happened. But so did the Game Awards, and this is our last show of the year, so how about we get going?
Let's go.
Press start.
This is episode 199, and today is Monday, the 11th of December, 2017. Welcome to the Aussie Gamers Express video game podcast. I am your host, Lucas, and here with me is my co-host and very good friend, Snoogs. How are you, man?
Did you say episode 199?
I did.
And did you say it was the last one of the year?
I did.
You tease.
Hold on a second. Pretty sure it was your idea.
Maybe.
You're like, how about we do an extra couple of shows so we end on 199? I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then I get the blame. But also here with us is our lovely admin member and very good friend, Ramutha. How are ya?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us for this monumental show, episode 199, and the last one of the year, and our Game of the Year special.
It's an honour.
Lovely, lovely. All right, so I guess a bit of a rundown. Let's warm up a little bit and get our vocal cords
La, 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 la.
all revved up, ready to go. So I'll try and explain. Now, I don't have a layout for the show to read off like I normally do, like,
We're winging it.
The show in preview, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to go through our Game of the Year. Now, we've got our top 10, and we're going to work our way down from number 10 all the way to number 1, and we're going to go one at a time. And then we'll also cover off, after we've all done all that, that's all said and done, we'll move on to our worst game of the year or dishonourable mentions, whatever you want to call them. We've also got some honourable mentions, and we've got some most anticipated games that are coming for next year. So how does that sound to you guys?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right. So who would like to go first with their number 10 position game of the year?
Oh, the special guest, surely.
Special guest. All right, I agree. Deb, hit us with your number 10. Have you got 10? Did you play 10?
I have got 10. Just barely.
Oh, I know you've got 2 kids running around, so I know it's a busy lady over there.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your number 10?
Forza Motorsport 7.
Ooh, comes in at number 10. Nice one. Now, for racing games for the year, I reckon that'd be my choice. It's a bloody good one.
It is a great game. The reason why it sits at number 10 is not because it's not a good game, but just because it's very much like the last one. There's very little that's changed. There's some improvement, but not enough to go, oh my goodness, wow, that's fantastic. So, great game, but unfortunately that puts it at the bottom of the list for me.
Fair enough. Well, at least it made the list, because a lot of games
made the
don't
list.
make the list. Yeah. All right, there you go. No, nice choice. Well, I guess I can say, spoiler alert, it's not on my list.
Oh, yeah. Didn't even make your list.
No, didn't make my list.
Missed out on mine too.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Well, what's your number 10, Pat?
Destiny 2.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I I'd when compiling this list, I've kind of gone for how much fun I've had during the year playing different games, and I've had a ton of fun playing Destiny 2.
Yeah, well, that's a absolutely reasonable excuse to put something on your top 10. If you had a ball playing it, doesn't matter if it was a 10-hour campaign or a 400-hour grind fest. If you enjoyed it, then that's a great game.
Exactly.
Well, for someone like me who's gone and I have it on the PS4 and the Xbox One, and I have multiple characters on both, it's up there.
Yeah, well,
spent a lot of time with it.
No, that's good. All right, so Destiny 2 for you. All right, I'll give you my number 10 then. Sonic Mania.
Okay.
No, have either of you played it?
No, I haven't had a chance to play it.
That's the 2D one.
Just to clarify, not Sonic Forces.
Yeah. Be specific.
Yeah, Sonic Mania, the one that came out earlier this year, not the one that came out recently last month. No, Sonic Mania, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. It felt exactly like Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2, just with all new levels and slightly tweaked abilities, where it still feels exactly the same as the original. The one thing that they added for Sonic is that you could do a spin dash as soon as you hit the ground, as opposed to landing, pressing down, and tapping the jump button. So you could do stuff like that. It was great. I thought it was a fantastic game. I wish it was higher up on my list because it was amazing, but there's just so much more amazing stuff on this list that I've got here. So Sonic Mania comes in at number 10 for me. All right, Deb, we'll go back around to you. What's your number 9?
My number 9 is South Park, Fractured But Whole.
Oh.
Really?
I didn't even know you'd played it.
Not all through, unfortunately, but what I have been able to play of it, I enjoyed. I love the humour. I'm with Pat on that. It's entertaining, sickeningly so at times. But yeah, I thought it was a really good sequel to the first one. I felt they improved on some things. I felt like it deserved a place on the list for me.
Fair enough. Actually, a bit of trivia for you. I actually watched an episode of South Park today. And what the hell is this? The episode I watched today it confused me. I was not on enough drugs to get what was going on. You might know the episode. It's the episode with Towley.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets sent away to this... I can't remember the name of it, but... Hey?
The rehab one?
Yeah, he goes to like Tard something.
You have to bring a towel.
He gets a job to try and get clean. And look, sorry if this isn't PC, but he goes to a special person's camp where they're all retarded. And he's the towel. He's employed to dry the kids when they get out of the water, but he's always too busy injecting heroin.
Isn't that the one where Timmy and Jimmy meet their mortal enemies as well?
Yeah.
Bubsy.
Yeah, and whatever that big oaf of a bloke is, they're trying to kill Jimmy because he's too good at everything. It was kind of like a Pinky and the Brain sort of thing, you know?
Is it Mimsy or something?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Mimsy. Yeah. That's the big oaf of a bloke.
Yeah.
That was a weird episode, man. Oh, and then my daughter got home from school. I'm like, yeah, I'm turning this off.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Tally.
You want to get high?
Oh, it's funny, but God, those guys are off tap. Amazing. Anyway, all right. South Park, Fractured But Whole. Rightio. Snoogs, what's your number 9?
My number 9 has a bit of controversy behind it.
Ooh, it's got loot crates, loot boxes.
No. I think it does. Not in the traditional sense, anyway.
Okay.
No, before I put this in my list, because I did enjoy, do still enjoy it. I quite often play it now. But I checked on the Game Awards when they were released last week,
Right.
and it was in one of them. It was nominated for an award. So my number 9 is Final Fantasy 15.
Okay, what's the controversy?
November 27th last year.
That's when it was released.
date.
Is that the one
Yep.
we were talking about before? And I'm like, you can't have that.
Yeah,
But
it may have been.
it's apparently you're saying that it's outside of the Game Awards 12 months.
No, it's during the Game Awards 12 months.
Oh, no, sorry, outside of last year's.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it was nominated for, I think, best score or something for this past one.
That's not true. I got the best score. Okay, you obviously mean
But
music.
yeah, so
Moving on.
Final Fantasy, it's just been reinvented with a multiplayer mode. It's a fantastic story. It's fantastic visuals, and the combat's been tweaked as well, so it's not so much turn-based anymore.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. It sort of is, but isn't.
Yeah, you've sort of got those. You still need time to cool down, but instead of you just standing there waiting to cool down, you can, flash off to hang off a tree or whatever while you're doing it with your weapon, and it just grabbed a hold of me. It's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I would like to vote for that as having the best looking in-game food for the year.
Also
Yeah.
fishing. So
Yeah, good fishing.
Good
Good old
Final Fantasy is actually quite relaxing.
boy band
So much so that
simulator.
I'm debating getting the VR version.
nice.
The VR version doesn't come with it?
No. It's an add-on adventure. It's only relatively cheap, but you need to knock out your own teeth and
What?
you got to knock out your own teeth while you're doing it, and big fisherman's hat. Tinny in the chair next to you.
Okay.
Deb gets me. It's all right.
I get it.
Well,
It's all
as
good.
long as someone does, that's fine. All right, my number 9,
Oh.
Cuphead.
Oh,
It's another one of those games that I really do wish it was higher on the list, but there's that many games that came out this year that were amazing. But Cuphead was great. It looked good. It played good. If I failed, it was my fault, not the controls and not the game, contrary to what I probably shouted at it a couple of times. This is your fault, Cuphead! That wasn't me! I didn't press the wrong button! It was me. Cuphead number 9 made my top 10 because it's a great game. Shame that it's exclusive. I think their sales numbers probably would have went absolutely crazy if it was cross-platform, but oh well, them's the breaks, I guess. But Cuphead's my number 9.
It's a gorgeous looking game.
It is. Have you played it, Deb?
No, I haven't been able to play it yet.
Give it a go.
Yeah, I need to, and then I'll rage quit after 5 seconds. We're good.
No, it's the sort of game. If you,
no, it's very weird. You don't actually rage quit. Well, not in the traditional sense. You don't rage quit because of controls or anything. You sort of have a spit and then go, no, I
I'll
can
do it again.
I
Yeah,
can
this is
beat that.
this is old school PlayStation gaming right there. I love it.
Yeah.
it's
That's good.
it's the kind of I'm turning this off now, but mark my word, Cuphead,
I'm coming back.
I
for
will
you.
be back.
Nice. Sounds good.
All right, Deb, what's your number 8?
So my number 8 was actually a kids game. Was the Pixar Rush, which Matt's also very familiar with.
Mm.
Wow,
Fantastic game.
Really?
Fantastic game. Yeah, it was that good. It had to go in my top 10 list.
but it's at number 8 though. That's good.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I just think they've done a fantastic job in the way that they've designed the game. They've made it really approachable, and even for my son, who's only 3 years old, he can pick it up, he can play, and he doesn't nail everything, but it's enjoyable for him. He can sit there independently, which is something I can't say about any other game, and just play. And then you've got the co-op option as well, which makes it more enjoyable for him. And even for me, the game has a level of challenge, and it's a beautiful game. And
That's good.
it's so accurate to the movies that it represents, in my opinion. It's really, really good.
Well, that's a glowing reference, because I haven't played that myself. So
It's worth a go.
Yeah, should
Absolutely
give it a go.
worth a go.
What does your son call it? Does he have a cute name for it?
No, he calls it Rush now, but he
okay.
wasn't quite sure at first what to call it. I think he called it Diamonds because it has diamond shapes on the top of it.
Yeah, because it just reminds me of when my daughter was around 3 years old as well, and she used to play a game called De Blob 2.
Yeah, I remember that.
She obviously she never called it De Blob, but she called it the Apple Game. And it sounds a bit weird, but if you look at the front cover, the blob, he's green and kind of looks like an apple, like a green apple. So she was like, "They can't play the Apple Game." That's so cute.
Yeah, yes. Thomas is like that with Wildlands. He calls it the helicopter game, and with Destiny, he knows by name. Crossout, he calls trucks. So he's got his own name for some.
Yeah, I like it when kids do that. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, Snoogs, what's your number 8?
Skyrim VR.
Ooh, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As soon as I put that headset on, the review wasn't a joke. It's addictive. It's immersive. It's everything VR needs to be.
Nice.
I can't fault it. Like it's just been it's still the same game, but the controls feel better, load times are better, and you're completely and utterly lost in this, gorgeous world. Even with the downsizing of the downgrading of the graphics, it's absolutely fantastic.
So, should I not do this?
Maybe not.
Is this making you twitch?
It's getting a cold sweat on.
Yeah.
Okay, you can calm down.
Just hold on a sec.
He's going to OD again. All right, I apologise. That was very uncool to send you on a little whirlwind like that. I apologise.
No, I must admit I've been able to. I must be getting more sensible in my old age. I've been able to keep it relatively calm. Although the 1 a.m.
Just going to put the headset on so you feel like you're there. Are you?
One thing I have noticed is playing VR winds everything up. So when you're playing VR at 1 o'clock in the morning and go, I might take the headset off now, and then you take the headset off and realise it's 3.
Mm-hmm.
And you're still wide awake and like you're on pingers.
I remember the night that we picked up my VR when you came along on that, and I played it till 6 a.m.
Once you get started with it, it just takes over. It's brilliant, fantastic, love it.
Nice. Okay, Skyrim VR for your number 8. My number 8.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Little Nightmares.
Yeah.
Little Nightmares. That is a little gem. That is a fantastic game. I actually like that better than what I would probably consider a bigger release. Inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Little Nightmares better.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
Yeah, Little Nightmares is amazing. I loved the fact that instead, like they made a similar style of game as your Limbos and your Insides, but they gave it a 3D environment. I loved that. It just gave that little extra freedom. It's still a side scroller, but you've got all that movement forward and back, so you got that depth, which was really cool. And God, it was creepy as all hell.
It was fantastic.
Oh.
It was brilliant.
Yeah,
So good.
I couldn't fault the game. Like, if I were to score it, it would be a 10 out of 10 game. That was brilliant. Little Nightmares. I recommend people give it a go if you're in for creepy stuff. Yeah, so that's my number 8. Deb, let's swing around to your number 7.
My number 7. Now, I didn't get a great deal of playtime on this one, unfortunately, but the minimal playtime I had, it impressed me. And for a franchise I hadn't touched before, this would be the one that would get me in. So you'll appreciate this, Luke. Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. When did you play that?
Well, I played it with you, and I played it through the expo, and I had one other chance to play it very briefly. And in all of those, it was great. Like even in a short amount of time, it was immersive. It was easy to pick up, easy to control. Graphically, it was gorgeous. It's just fun, like genuine fun. And like I said, I've never played a Mario game before in my life, I have to confess.
Oh,
but
really?
Never.
Thanks for joining the show.
Bye. But this would be the one that would get me in. Absolutely, without a question.
It is a good one to come in on. It is fantastic. I've finished it now. Like I've finished all of the levels, but there's still a billion things to do in it, and it never stopped amazing me until the end. Like it was just like all these new things that kept happening throughout the whole game. You know, you don't get all your abilities up front and then it's just the same thing for the rest of them. There's just new stuff every single time you move on. It's so good.
Those beautiful little details, like the transitions from your 3D to 2D, was great.
Yeah.
Even for someone, I haven't played the game, but I know Mario to look and feel a certain way, and just implanting that into the game was genius. Yeah, absolutely genius.
Nintendo always have a way of, making sure their games are like well represented. Well, with respect to one game that I think they ruined, which was Star Fox. That was rubbish on the
I must admit, the one time that I've actually played it, it got put into my head, maybe I should pick up a Switch.
For one game?
It's since gone now, but
yeah.
it was still there. It was always one of those things, it's just a Nintendo, it's another kid's thing. But as soon as I got my hands on it and played with it, I know exactly what Deb means. It's
well,
brilliant.
Essentially, I bought the Switch for one game. I will play, obviously, other things on it, but I've got to say that's the only reason I bought the Switch, is to play Super Mario Odyssey, which is really strange that I would pay $550 for one game, but it's got side effects of actually having a Switch at my disposal from now on. But yeah,
exactly.
Cool. Great game. Was not disappointed. Nice. All right. What are we up to? Pat for number 7.
Number 7.
What's yours?
Flame in the Flood.
This is one I haven't played as well.
No? Flame in the Flood is... I suppose you could actually call it basically a score chaser. So it's this well, kind of, because you die, you start again, sort of thing. And then you see how much further you can go. And I've never actually gotten to the end.
Is it a roguelike?
Sorry?
Is it a roguelike, is it?
It's kind of in its own little niche. It's what the story is you're on so there's this massive flood and you're on a raft and you've got to go downstream.
Yep.
And you get into certain areas and it's a survival game. So you have to stop and loot out a town. But in that town there could be rabbits hopping around. You've got to make a trap to try and catch. And then you've got to make sure that you've got enough components to make a knife so you can skin them. You can only use that knife a certain amount of times before it's too blunt. You have to look for medicine. You have to look for clothing. You have to stay warm. If it rains, you get cold. You get sick. You can go into an area and get bitten by a snake. So then you're poisoned. You've got to find certain flowers or or plants to make medication. You can go into another area and get eaten by a wolf, and it's this quirky looking little game, and just another one that I just could not put down, and I still have it on the Xbox. I go back to it every now and again to have a bit of a playthrough.
Okay. What if I said to you, Pat, that it was a 2016 game?
What? No.
It was released in February 2016.
Oh, it wasn't.
Yes, it was. There might be a little bit of an argument from your side of the corner. It was released in 2017 on console.
Oh, well, that's where my that's where I played it.
It's still not a 2017 game, but I will allow it. Adjudicator says, I've just listened to the man upstairs who's just said he'll allow it. Okay.
I was just about to say, I bloody reviewed it this year.
Yes, but the initial release date was the 24th of February 2016. But the release...
January 17th.
Yeah, for console. Yeah.
Yep.
But there you go. So they're allowing it. I'm just speaking to the executive producers, and they're allowing it.
Thank you to the executive producer.
Yep, they're just talking in my ear right now. What's that? You're giving me a pay rise for noticing it. That's all right. You don't have to do that,
nice.
but I'll accept it. What's that? A 200% pay rise? Wow. Yeah. I think that still works out to be nothing. What's 200% of zero?
Carry the zero. Yeah, that's still nothing, yeah.
All right, very good. Flame of the Flood. Now, my number 7, is it? Is that what I'm up to?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wolfenstein 2
Ooh.
is my number 7. This one also falls into the category of, I wish I could have had all of these games for my number 1. Because they're all great. But Wolfenstein 2 was around for a good time, not a long time. There's no multiplayer. It's literally just a campaign that took about 11 hours or so to play. But I enjoyed it. I wholeheartedly enjoyed it. There wasn't any part where I thought that it outstayed its welcome and got boring. It was all fun. It was outlandish and crazy and stupid, and just I can't believe some of the crap that goes on in there. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what this game needs to be. Don't take anything too seriously. Let's just blow stuff up. You haven't played it yet, have you, Snoogs?
No.
Oh, you have to take it and play it over Christmas.
Yeah. Well, I've got a bit of time on my hands now.
Yes, you do. So yeah, I'll give that one to you. Absolutely. Nice. All right, let's go across to our number 6 game, Deb.
All right, number 6. So, for me, this is where Destiny 2 sits. So, I'm a big fan of Destiny. I've played the first one since probably its second year because we got the Xbox One then. I felt that while Destiny 2 had some issues, it built on the structure that I had from Destiny 1, and it did a great job of building well. Like it visibly was beautiful. Like the graphics are gorgeous. The gameplay's optimized just that little bit better. They've still got a long way to go, but yeah, I felt that it was improved, and I look forward to seeing where they build on that from here on.
Yeah, that's all very, very fair, and I agree with it. Just for me, I think I've just run out of interest in that game. I can't say there was anything wrong with it. I've just had my fill, and I've been saying that for a little while now, and it hasn't changed. Like, I hear people talk about it, and it sort of gets me a little bit excited, and I think, oh, maybe I should get it on the Xbox and play it with you guys. And then I think about it for a bit, and I think, I'm going to have to grind to level 20 again.
It's nowhere near as much of a grind with other people around, though.
Yeah, maybe. Thankfully. Yeah. And then I think, well, I want to play with you guys, but I don't really want to play that one. And I can't. I don't know.
That's fair.
I've got
That's fair. I think that's a pretty common opinion in that. And for me, I see Destiny 2 or Destiny in general, always intended to be co-op. And if you're playing it alone, it gets old really quickly.
Yeah.
And really grindy. But if you're playing it with mates, like it's all about the social aspect. You know, they've always had the emotes and all that sort of stuff, the dancing and the soccer balls in the social area to encourage that sort of cooperative, friendly nature. And the community around that game is phenomenally good compared to most other multiplayer games around.
I kind of feel, because I haven't touched it in a very long time, I also feel that I'll be a little bit of an outcast if I start playing now.
Not at all, mate.
All good. I'm still got a ways to go.
Well, what light level are you now, Deb?
I think I'm over 270, but yeah, it's grindy.
Okay. I could probably get there reasonably quick. If I can find a reasonable copy on the Xbox, I'll grab it. Did you get the DLC, Deb?
Greg did, but because we share subscription, that DLC for some reason doesn't apply to me. So I'm gonna have to sort that out.
Yeah, it only works on the primary.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
silly.
I get the game from his subscription, but I don't get the DLCs. So
Okay,
season
'cause
pass has to be individual.
the
FYI.
the PlayStation doesn't do that. If you do that same sort of account share thing for families and all that, the DLC comes with it. There you go.
Only sometimes. I don't actually think it worked for Destiny.
For Destiny.
Or did you do it?
Huh?
Did it work for you?
What? No, well, I don't have access to that account anymore. So,
Okay.
no, definitely not. Yeah, I don't know. Look, with Little Nightmares, well, that's on our Aussie Gamers Express account, and that the DLC does transfer across to my Luke One account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so can confirm that does work. All right, Snoogs, what's your number 6?
Mine is Cuphead.
Cuphead makes it a little further down the chain there. Nice.
Yeah, so for all those things and for that, the old school cartoon charm.
Isn't it nice?
Is what bumped it up a little bit higher.
It's great animation.
And because you have that whole twisting controller frustration, but it's only ever at yourself. It's never at the game. It's it's a lot of fun was had, a lot of swearing was done, but a lot of fun was had.
But how cool is the sneaky little dark undertones?
Yeah.
of the game. I wasn't expecting. If you play Cuphead, you got to watch the intro. They're just like flick cards, but it's sort of like a comic reel sort of thing, comic strip. But yeah, it's kind of a little bit dark and sinister. What's actually occurring? But anyway, great game. Good old Cuphead. All right, my number 6. This one was argued about a lot in the media when it came out. It was picked on. It was they said that the animations were shoddy, and they just complained constantly. And all I could do was sit back and go, I think it looks great. Do you know what game I'm talking about?
Troll and I.
No. I don't think I ever said that was great. Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
It was an excellent Mass Effect experience. Now, look, I don't think it was as good
Was it
as...
really, or was it just Phoebe?
Oh, PB.
PB, sorry.
PB. Well, she was some lovely blue alien ass, that was. She was easy. I think everybody banged PB. The rest of them were too hard. You had to buy the other ones flowers. You had to just say, I like the shade of blue you are, and she just jumped on you. But yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda was a great game. Like what I was going to say, it's not as good as like the first few. You guys right?
Sorry.
Yep. Agreed.
Pull yourself
That's a lovely
together, man.
That's a lovely shade of blue. Hey!
Oh dear. You're the only one that's ever called me blue before.
God.
Yes, not as good as the originals, but I don't think anything was ever going to live up to the originals because, you know, there was 3 games of working into your characters. But with Mass Effect Andromeda, I'm looking forward to this being a trilogy and getting to know the characters more, because I really did like the characters. They were great. I thought the game was expansive. There was a lot of cool things to do in it. There was a lot of reason to come back for replayability. I thought it was a brilliant Mass Effect game. If you're trying to start again with fresh new characters, I think they did a good job. So that was my number 6. All right, we're halfway. So Deb, hit us with your number 5.
Number 5. Okay. Number 5 for me was Prey.
Ah, right.
Yes. So I thoroughly enjoyed Prey. I know it wasn't everyone's game, but my goodness, that game was fun. This is one that I spent a lot of time I really took my time with this one. I wanted the whole thing to just sink in and to enjoy every aspect of the creep factor. I mean, it wasn't really jump scary. It was just creepy. It was just this constant feeling of threat that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, well, I've only played a little bit of it. And that whole thing of it could be anything inside the room that you're in, like these creatures, so you never really know when you can relax, because it could
Exactly
be a bloody...
right.
The enemy could be a bloody cup sitting on the table. It could be the bloody table.
Yeah, it keeps you on tenterhooks, and
It does. It's
really well.
just...
And then that first time you step outside the station is a whole nother thing. Like, you've got all the same enemies on the outside of the ship, and you can't move away anywhere near as fast. You can't find cover.
Oh, yeah, when you're floating out in space.
Yeah, once you get your jetpack going, and you've got to actually do things on the external, it just opens up all that more. But it still leaves you with this really threatening feeling
Yeah.
everywhere you go, and it's so good at what it does. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So that gets a number 5 for me.
Very good. I didn't play too much of it, just a couple of hours, but no, fair call. Glad you enjoyed that one. Snoogs, what's your number 5, mate?
Project Cars number 2.
Oh, Project Cars, a racing game, makes it into the pack.
Yes. The only racing game on my list, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, Project Cars 2, while it might not be up there with the visual fidelity of Forza or GT Sport, it more than compensates for that with just its sheer gameplay. And again, lots and lots of fun. I ended up getting a steering wheel just to play it, built myself a frame to play it, and yeah, all the little tweaks, the extra bits that they did over the first game has just taken it on leaps and bounds.
Yeah, nice. No, and I agree with you there. Like, it doesn't have the super duper graphic fidelity of your GT Sport or your Forza 7, but it's very, very good behind the scenes with all its bits and pieces.
One of the things that I absolutely love about it is that I go and do, say, 10 laps around Mount Panorama in Project Cars 2. After I get off, my steering wheel's force feedback wheel. Yeah, I feel like I've done 10 laps around Mount Panorama. It's you're driving around in a GT3. It's angry. It's bitey. It's it's a race car. Do the same sort of thing in GT Sport, and I just don't get that feeling.
You sound like a wimp, man. I've driven around Mount Panorama. It's not hard at all.
At 50.
Yeah. 50 kilometres an hour, power steering and air conditioning.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about with that top crest.
I've driven around it at noise in a early 80s model car, and it is quite difficult.
And that was on a closed circuit for the day, wasn't it?
That was, mate. Yeah.
Oh, really?
many years ago.
Oh, okay.
Such first.
Surprised they don't do that more often. Maybe they do, and I just don't know about it. But I reckon
the last one they did, the bloody Porsches ruined it for everyone.
They crash.
Yeah, bloke in a Cayman went out, and Cayman, whatever it is,
KN?
And, yeah, one of the stupid twin turbo things.
Yep.
And rolled it down Conrad.
Yep.
I think, yeah.
Mm.
So
Did he die?
no, they're quite good.
So what,
But
then?
yeah, he wanted to show everyone that he was the quickest car there, but he couldn't drive.
Oh, I could probably beat those speeds too if I don't break. Well done, Porsche man. All right, nice one. That's good for Project Cars 2 in your number 5 spot. You want my number
Yes.
5?
Indeedy.
Might be a little bit surprised, but it's Horizon Zero Dawn.
Really?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I expected that a little higher.
yeah, I thought you might. And I saw a tweet that made me laugh a lot. I can't remember who it was to credit them, and I apologise for that, but it might be someone that listens to the show, I'm not sure. But it was one of our usuals on our Twitterverse. But someone said that from here on in they will be known as Horizon Zero Awards. Because they didn't win anything at the Game Awards.
Ouch. They were a close runner-up there, right?
I'm blown away they didn't win anything, because that game is... well,
Beautiful.
In saying that, it's in my number 5 spot.
It's your
but-
number 5, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, another thing, like, it was an absolutely amazing game and looked great, but I enjoyed other games. That's the only thing. I enjoyed other games better, but it doesn't mean that that's any less of a game. When I listen to me, I'm sorry for putting you in number 5, Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm very sorry. It's weird. I feel like I'm sort of like making excuses for breaking up with my girlfriend. Oh.
It's true, right? I mean, once you get to your top 5, it's not about what's better or worse. It's just what you enjoyed.
Yeah, that's right. They're all amazing games. In my top 5 are all amazing games, but it had to be done. It's a horrible task, but someone has to do it. Yes, Horizon Zero Dawn's my number 5. Great game, but just didn't tick the right boxes for number 1. All right, let's go back around, Deb, for your number 4.
So, for that same reason, number 4 for me is Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Ooh. Hey, Deb, guess what?
What?
Snap.
Nice.
Mine's the same.
Nice. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, my number 4 is Ghost Recon Wildlands as well.
Yeah, it's a great game. And especially, again, I love co-op games. If I'm going to play online or multiplayer, I love to do co-op style games.
Yeah, me too.
And this one from the outset had, I mean, you can play it however you want. You can play it loosey-goosey and try and stuff the whole thing up and then salvage it. Or you can actually strategize and get it done. And it's incredible, whichever way you play it. I've had endless hours of fun in this game.
I normally try it the other way around. Strategy, and then it all goes to hell, and then
goes to Rambo.
and then I try and fix it.
Yeah, that's right.
You know the easiest way to fix it? This is a good tip. I'll give you this tip, okay? I haven't Googled this anywhere. This is a tip that I've come up with. The easiest way, if you've caused a massive big shit fight and everyone wants to kill you, the easiest way to survive it and get back to like everything being calm, die.
Have you tried turning it on and off again?
Run away, but yeah.
No, just die, because then you respawn and you're like, happy days.
Yeah. Reset, take 2.
Also known as a tactical reload. Death.
The other part of that I loved, though, and really blew me away when we first played, even in those story scenes, the detail, like I'm sitting there zooming in on tattoos and details in this game, just going, oh my goodness, that is gorgeous.
Yeah, good looking
How good
game.
is that?
Great game. But you know what?
It's beautiful.
Without spoiling it, the ending, I don't know if you can, I think you can get a couple of different endings, but the ending that I got, the first one that I got, would have done the same thing.
Let's do that again.
Yeah, it was a great ending. Loved it. Loved
Nice.
it. Awesome game.
It is, yeah.
All right, Pat, what's your number 4?
Uncharted: The Lost Legacy.
Oh,
Oh, controversy!
No, it was a standalone. It come by itself on a disc.
Oh, All right. I'm just waiting. Just waiting. Just waiting for the executives upstairs. Oh, they're putting it on me. They're not sure either. Oh. Have you finished it?
Yeah.
How long did it take to finish it?
Oh God, I've got no concept of time for something like that. Because I played it over so many different weeks. I started playing it again to go back and find some more loot.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna allow it. Gonna allow it, but it's if there's a line and line +1 is no, you're out. It's line -1. It's just in.
Just in there.
All right. If we're playing tennis, it's on the line.
Sounds like a plan, mate.
All right.
Yeah, just anything that gives me more Uncharted. Really.
Oh, you do love your Uncharted, don't you?
I do. I've the only games that I've still got for my my PS3 are my three Uncharted games.
Well, sorry, you keep going.
Oh, I was just saying the fact that they expanded the world to Chloe and Nadine and gave them their own piece of the story where they still reference Nate, but he's not actually there, and he really takes, he doesn't have any part of it. Yeah, it's just this. The only reason it's still called Uncharted is because they were already part of this world where it could have easily stood on its own.
Yeah, but if they wanted to do it on their own, they probably would have had to have made a new engine. So just to recycle things, we'll call it Uncharted.
Yeah.
Hey, a little bit of trivia for you. The person that plays the voice of Nadine Ross, her name escapes me at the moment, but she's playing the voice of the unknown female in the Last of Us Part 2 trailer. Do you know that?
The unknown female?
Yeah, that buff chick.
Oh, yes.
Which certainly confirms that's not Ellie.
That's Laura Bailey.
Laura Bailey, that's the one. Yeah, yep. So she's playing that character, and surprisingly enough, number one, she's not black like Nadine. Number two, she's not South African. And number three, she's just like an American. She's just her accent.
Just a very good actor.
Very good actor. I would have put money on the fact that would have been maybe a South African, because that South African accent that Nadine has was flawless. Well, for me, someone that's not really educated in South African accents, but I love that accent, mind the way. I'm going off topic here, but good game. I've got to say, the only reason why I'm not as big an Uncharted fan as I was when I played the first ones, it's Naughty Dog's fault, because of The Last of Us. Shifted my focus. Yeah. Shifted my focus. But yeah, look, I do agree with you though. Lost Legacy was great, and it's massive, and it's a standalone. Just that feeling that you get when you first open up this beautiful vista, and it just sort of pans around everywhere, and you just know you're in for a treat. But the thing is, with that game as well, like there's this big sort of emphasis, and everybody's talking about the open world aspect to it. So you play that, and this is what happened to me. I played it, and then when you realise that there's still like 4 or 5 hours beyond that section of the game, there's just so much more. Like I thought that I'd be finished when I finished that open world section. And then it just went on and on and on, and it was great, which is obviously why it's a fair call to say a game like that is Game of the Year, because it's not your regular expansion or DLC. Fair enough. All right, what are we up to? My number 4. Can't really do my number 4. We know what it is. My number 4 was Snapped with Deb, which was Ghost Recon Wildlands. So we'll just skip me and let's go across to Deb's number 3. Top 3 time.
Oh, top 3. All right. So you know how much I love these games. That might give it away already. Assassin's Creed Origins was my top 3.
Oh, what? It's what? It's 2, 3, 2, and 1.
It's my it's my 3. I love this game. Again, I can't rave about this game enough. I am a massive fan of every Assassin's Creed game. Sorry, that's
Even
come
that
out.
crap one.
Even the glitchy ones that I've not really been able to put down. The stories behind them are fantastic. I love the assassin style. I love the worlds that they create. The whole Assassin's Creed franchise drew me in at the first one because of the history and the landscape and the everything that goes into this. So I've been a fan throughout. And Origins was one I was very tentative about because I knew they were rejigging it. I knew they were changing things, and I wondered whether that was going to make it not Assassin's Creed. I am delighted with what they've done. It feels different, it feels fresh, but it is still Assassin's Creed. It's still rich in the lore, it's still in the world, it's still everything that it should be. And I'm loving the fact that this is a prequel in a lot of ways, explaining, the origins, obviously, of the assassins, of the Order, and implementing historical figures the way that they do into these things is seamless for me. Yes, there's some creative license, but I love it. I think they've done a beautiful job. And graphically, this game is superb. And I'm only playing it on base Xbox One. I'm not playing it on the X like you are, Luke. So for me, blew me away. Very happy with the changes they've made. I don't feel like any of it pulls away from the franchise at all, and that makes me very happy.
That's good. Now, I can't help but notice that you made mention to them having some creative license. Are you saying it's not completely historically accurate? Because
that's their own disclaimer right there.
Because in 2007, when Assassin's Creed, the original one, came out, essentially that and all subsequent releases of Assassin's Creed is the only reason I know anything about history.
I'm not saying that they don't tell the truth about characters, places, and events, but there's a certain amount that you just don't know. So they claim inspired. They've done a very good job of making it work. Your lessons in history are about 98% factual, I'm going to say.
Yeah. It's like in an exam. It's like, I want you to give your answer and explain how you got your answer. Well, here's my answer, and how I got that? AC3.
The Animus.
Yeah, the Animus. I know about the American Revolution because of Assassin's Creed.
Possibly still more informative than Wiki, so...
Yeah, possibly. Adewale taught me about how the pirates used to do business back in the day.
Legit.
Taught me about shanties.
That's
yeah,
it.
absolutely. I know shanties so well now.
Oh, I love those sea shanties are so good. Actually, I had a whole bunch of them somewhere. I was going to use them for intros to the show. That idea went by the wayside, though. I don't know.
We'll have another chance, I'm sure.
I don't know if I've still got them somewhere. No, I don't know. What are we up to? What number is that? Yours number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Pat, what's your number 3?
What is my number 3? Little Nightmare.
I don't know.
Little Nightmares.
Oh, Little Nightmare. Ooh,
I made 3 for you.
Very good. Hence you
have not
agreeing
been
with me so well.
Yeah, I have not been sucked into a game that of like that type of game ever before. And the fact that my heart got racing in the chase scene, because you reckon it's been out long enough now we can probably spoil a little bit of it?
Yeah.
Okay, so
main game.
there's a scene where you go into like a food hall sort of thing.
Yeah.
And this massive sloth of a person thing, whatever you want to call it, just starts chasing you. And
is that the one that's sort of like, he's not really running, he's sort of just pushing his body across the ground?
Yeah.
He's too fat.
Yeah,
Amazingly
exactly.
quickly.
Amazingly quickly.
Yeah.
And just the way that it comes along, and then you sort of run through this little door and then down a couple of steps towards the screen, and it comes crashing through the door behind you, and you've got to quickly get around the corner before it can lunge at you. And it's just absolutely brilliant, just the way that it did it. And then when it finished, that last scene before you walk up out of the mall.
Yep.
I sat there stunned. Just absolutely stunned by how it finished. It was
you've
fantastic.
talked about the ending before, and I struggled to remember what actually happened. It was on the podcast, so you didn't really want to give it away. It's just clicked. I now know what you're talking about. Yes, 100%. It was just like,
yeah,
that was a shock factor. It's fantastic.
Yeah, my wife walked in and looked at me, and I'm sitting there. I had like a baseball cap on that I'd pushed up because I had to run the hands through the head. Just what the hell just happened? And I was just literally sitting there stunned. I did not know what to do. I did not know how to process it. It was just a brilliant way just to finish off when I thought it was going one way. All of a sudden, it just turned on me. And yeah, and the fact that excuse me, I don't remember a lot of little detail about games. This I can remember the majority of parts of it, and I can still remember that ending and the sound.
Oh yeah, I've never sat through credits so long just to process what the hell happened.
Yeah, just to sit there and go,
what?
Okay. And I think I've played it like 4 times. Just to go back through and just make sure that I'm checking other bits and pieces of it. And yeah, brilliant. Well worth my number 3 spot.
Oh, very good. All right, my number 3 is Let's Go! Super Mario Odyssey.
Yay.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, so that gets my number 3 spot. It's just unfortunate there was a couple other games that just did a little bit better, but Super Mario Odyssey on the Nintendo Switch was amazing. The worlds are massive. There's so much of it. It's very expansive. There's so many secrets that I haven't seen yet. So much of everything, and it's cute. It's fun. It's exciting. It's so many different things that keep it fresh. Probably the best Super Mario 3D game that I've played probably ever, and probably since Super Mario 64, really. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So that's my number 3, top 3 for that one there.
Was that delayed?
No.
No.
No, not at all.
Do you think if it come out earlier in the year, it would have taken top spot?
No.
Not for you, for Game of the Year.
Does that make a difference?
Some people say it does.
What, they've come out earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, I don't know how the game... Do you mean for me or for the Game Awards?
For the Game Awards.
Well, look, yeah, I don't know how they judge, but how can when it's released matter?
More time with it, more time to get to know it.
But not too much to forget it.
That's not fair. That's...
Yeah, well, what April, May releases, we've had Fallout 4, we've had The Witcher 3, all been Game of the Year, and Zelda was earlier this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, Zelda was on release of the Switch.
So that was April,
I can't,
something like that.
I can't remember. But I don't know. I don't think that should have a difference how long it's been out. That's not fair.
I'm not saying it does.
Yeah, I know, but
It was March. Sorry. It's just that it's been a trend. That's why I thought I'd ask the question, because it has been a trend.
nah. See, I mean, as much as I haven't played Zelda, I think it probably deserved it. It looks like an amazing game.
Oh well, I don't deny that it deserved it, and there's no one's ever said one bad word about it. It's just that the question popped into my head because we have had those in the past that have been out around that time.
Well, I don't think that would be fair.
Cool.
Like, yeah, I don't know, but I don't know if it is or it isn't. But if it is, I don't think they'd admit it.
Oh, of course not.
No. But anyway, that's me number 3.
It's probably just a coincidence more than anything else.
I think so.
Yep.
All right, let's go to the number 2 spot for you, Deb.
So number 2 for me is one that you guys have mentioned, and that's Wolfenstein 2.
Ah, Wolfie gets number 2. I like it.
And the reason why it gets number 2 is because I compared it directly with its predecessors, and I mean I've loved Wolfenstein as well since early days. I love that they keep themselves.
Early days.
What?
You weren't there early days.
Not maybe birth of the game, but you know. No, it's a great game. I just felt like they stepped it up a notch, really, with the graphics, with the gameplay. I loved some of the ingenuity and how they worked the levels. I don't know. It's hard to say exactly why I like this game, but it just made a really big impression on me, and it's one that I want to play more and more and more of, which is rare for me with that kind of game. While I like Wolfenstein, I don't generally like those types of games. So that was a standout for me, and I had to give it number 2.
Nice. Number 2. Sounds like you hated it.
Well, considering the other games below it, I mean.
No. Oh, okay, that's good. Awesome games. Yeah, there's none here that I'm looking at you guys so far and saying, really?
What are you thinking?
What are you getting paid? No. All right, Snoogs, what's your number 2?
Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Hey.
Couple of spots higher, but that's cool.
The reason it's in my number 2 spot, I have not had that much fun playing any multiplayer game in a long time. Pretty much since early days of the Division.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Good.
It was so much fun. You and I spent many nights with a host of different people, just laughing our heads off. Even in the beta,
Yeah.
it was just, we'd have those nights where it was just, let's just go and have fun, and then we'd have those other nights where it's like, all right, let's knuckle down and do this tactical, and then we'd go and have fun because the tactics wouldn't last very long.
Yeah.
But
Just turns into a
it's just one of those things where it can be played in so many different ways. It's just something that you keep coming back to, and I platinumed it, so obviously I wanted to spend the time with it. And considering that the way that I played the game, the first day that I had it, I jumped on Google, where do I find the most powerful sniper rifle, and I went into a 5-star area the first day that I had it, and through a great amount of perseverance, I got that sniper rifle.
nice.
And then just took out everything.
I think, though, through a process of elimination, I think I know what your number 1 is already.
Probably.
All right.
What about you, mate? What's your number 2?
My number 2 is The Surge.
Ooh.
Oh. Well, I think I know what your is as well.
Yeah, you might be able to work it out. But The Surge, because I don't like Dark Souls. But it's not the Dark Souls formula that I don't like. And I'm not saying that The Surge is exactly like Dark Souls, but it's definitely a Souls-like game. But because
third-person hack and slash.
yeah, with the save points. So like, if you die, you lose everything and go back to the beginning of the level, and then you've got a chance to go back and get all the loot that you've dropped when you died. That's that kind of thing, and it's brutal in that way. But yeah, obviously very, very different to Dark Souls. But this gave birth to a type of game sort of like Bloodborne, where I liked Bloodborne because it was a little bit different to Dark Souls, but I love the sci-fi aspect. I don't really like the old school shield and sword business. What would you call that genre? Like, is it fantasy?
Fantasy action RPG.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that stuff. I like modern, contemporary, futuristic. That's where I'm really more interested. Which is why I like Fallout, but I don't really enjoy Skyrim.
Yeah.
They're kind of the same game, but Fallout's the futuristic version. So, The Surge, it just worked for me. I spent a lot of time playing that. I finished it. I loved it. I raged a couple of times at it, but came back with a fresh head and a different tactics and worked my way around it. And I think it was an amazing game. Really good. The main character, bit of a like dark, shady, unknown character, but still quite powerful in messages that come across. Thought it was amazing. So The Surge, you get my number 2. All right, well, it's crunch time. We're going to go around the table now and get our number 1s. First with you, Deb. What's your number 1? What is your game of the year for 2017? Nothing was better.
I don't have to say a lot about this game because it's already gotten so much rave review in this process already.
Candy Crush wasn't released this year.
No. Little Nightmares gets my number 1.
Oh, wow!
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
Nice.
For all the reasons that you guys have said, it is such a brilliant game, so beautifully done, and it had the replayability. But just because you sit there and just go, "Oh my goodness, I have to play that again," I have to. I think it's probably the only game I've finished and picked straight back up and played all over again.
Nice.
So I couldn't not give it my number 1 this year. It was so good.
Little Nightmares walks away with a number 1 spot for Deb. Very nice. All right. Snoogs, what's your number 1 game? What game did you play this year that nothing else was better than?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah, there's so much to love about it. You know, you've got the story, the visuals, the character, and just the start. You know what? Screw it. Because it's been out for so long, I'm going to talk about the start. The start where you find out that you're this little girl that's been shunned and taken in by someone else who's also been shunned as an outcast. And then you're playing as her, as, you know, an 8-9-year-old.
Yep.
Running around and then doing a course, and, you know, everyone loves a montage. You grow into adult Aloy. And it's fantastic the way that it all came together. And the fact that the story, it kept me guessing all the way through. I picked up one of the main parts of it, but I didn't realise how it all fitted in. But then that bomb drops, and you sort of sit back and go, wow. And then it smacks you in the face again because you finish the game, you go and do something else after you finished, and then you get whacked by a whole lot more heartstrings. It's fantastic from start to finish. And it's another one that I platinumed this year, so it definitely gets my number 1 spot. I cannot say enough good things about it. I've got every part of it. I did every single mission. My quest log was empty when I finished it.
Nice.
Well, I cannot argue any of those points. Very good game. All right. Do you want my number 1? Do you think you know what it is?
I think I know what it is.
You probably should. All right.
Hmm.
My number one game of the year for 2017. I put a lot of thought into this because I've gotten it wrong before. Do you remember the year when I said Fallout 4
Yep.
as my game of the year?
Mhm.
I shouldn't have had Fallout 4. It was great, but Dying Light should have got it that year. So I put a lot of thought into this one. And my number one game of the year for 2017 is Resident Evil 7.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you thought I was going to say?
That's exactly what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah, of course. Okay, without it being on my list already, it would have had to have been number one. But Resident Evil 7 for me was a delightful experience. Taking away from the fact that it was the first full AAA VR game that I'd played, which was amazing. I'm so glad they did that. But more so looking at it for the fact that Resident Evil 7 was the first of its kind. They took, the developers, the creators of the game, took a chance to change the game from what it was. It was always a little bit sort of arcadey with the over-the-shoulder or the fixed view cameras. They've changed it to first-person view, which is a massive departure from the series. It's never done it before. And they took a little bit more of a serious approach, which blew me away.
Approach?
Yes.
They took a pant-wetting approach.
Serious pan-wetting approach, yeah. So it was
brilliant.
For the longest time, Resident Evil hasn't scared me as much as it, I enjoyed Revelations and all that, but they're not exactly scary games. This game had a fear factor of 9, if not 10, and with using PlayStation VR, just took it to 11, It was just over the charts. That's another thing as well.
Fear kicked in.
Oh, you feel like you're actually there. And they've also taken the extra time needed and the extra care needed to make VR compatible throughout the entire game. Not just a small portion of it, which I absolutely adored. Played the whole game in VR. Only played it outside of VR for the sake of comparing in my review. And I couldn't fault the game. I enjoyed it. I loved it. Just took me a couple of days to play through it because I'd put in such large stints and just loved the game. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. Great game. Love it. So there you go. That's our top 10 games of the year. All said and done. All right. How about... Deb, what have you got in the way of bad
mentions.
Games? Dishonor. You got dishonorable mentions? What do you got?
Ooh, I might annoy you here.
Oh, bring it on.
I only had 2 that I was willing to say anything negative about. And again, saying something negative, it's perspective and it's a little bit preferential. With Mass Effect Andromeda, did get a dishonorable from me. And not because it's a bad game, because I fully believe, story-wise, that game is amazing. But those issues they had with the graphics and the animation, it just felt like they'd rushed it a bit too much.
I seriously didn't see them.
I saw so much of it, and it I'm hoping that was quickly resolved, because that was bad.
And I pre-ordered it too, so I played it on release, which is weird because it's not that I'm blind, because I saw some YouTube and Reddit posts that had snippets of them, and I laughed because there was one where there was a guy sitting in a chair during a cutscene conversation, and as he was sitting, he was just rotating like upside down. It was like he's just talking like there's nothing wrong, but he's rotating on his chair and getting all mashed in the process. It was really funny, but I never had anything go wrong in my playthrough.
How did you feel about character animation in that?
I had no problem with it whatsoever. I didn't think there was any issue. Are you talking about the facials?
Mostly facials, yes. Because, I mean, we sat there and we looked so in depth at it and just went, it just feels like a letdown compared to everything else that they've done with the game. They've put so much love and heart into the game, and then that just.
I seriously feel like that guy in Zoolander, Mugatu, where he's saying, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I don't get it. I never saw it. It never bothered me. Look, I understand in games like that where there's a billion lines of dialogue that they're not going to lip sync every single line because it's impractical. It's impossible. I don't know. Maybe other games did it better, but I didn't find issue with it.
There were a couple of scenes I looked at, and there was these women in a conversation. They looked like they had plastic Lego hair.
Oh,
no hair tendrils, just plastic solid Lego hair. And I'm sitting there going, what?
Therein,
What is that?
therein lies the issue with me not noticing, because whenever it was a conversation with a woman in Mass Effect, I'm not really looking at the head.
Right.
A lot of them tend to wear tight clothing if you're getting what I'm putting down, or you're picking up what I'm putting down.
It's not that you're blind, it's just that you're partially unable to see. So
They've got great tits. Let's just put it that way.
I'm not blind, I'm just distracted.
right.
That's right.
Dear. The only other one I could say anything remotely negative about, which again isn't because it's a bad game, was For Honor. For me, I expected, maybe that was just a miscommunication in the way that the game was presented before release. I expected to have a good, solid storyline, and I didn't feel like it had that. It had really good battle. It had really good PvP, but when it came to storyline for campaign, it was lackluster, and the story itself was pretty slim. So for me, for a game that I'd been looking forward to as much as I had been, that was a letdown for me, unfortunately.
I, fortunately for me, knew that it would be a game that I wouldn't like, so I never touched it.
Yeah.
I played the beta and went, oh, that was fun.
That'll do. Yeah.
That'll do.
What about you, Pat? You got
style.
Dishonorables or anything like that?
Yeah. Again, sort of taking into account, none of these are particularly bad games. They just haven't sat well with me. So I've got 4 that sprung to mind. The first one is Get Even.
Yes. Big letdown.
I was so excited to see that. So excited to actually play the initial taste that I got. And everything about it, the fact that it's psychological, just screamed that it could have been so much more. But it just didn't have enough to hold me and to be able to get through it. So I still haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, no, I completely agree there. The performance was really poor too.
Yeah, there was that was a bit of a letdown as well.
Yeah.
But so the other one I've got is Prey.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. Hearing you guys talk it up, and I did not get any of it.
I didn't talk it up, man.
No, but you pointed out the good features that you liked about it.
Oh, yeah. It was creepy as all hell, but I still didn't play it very much.
Even the scare factor, I got none of that. And I've tried to go back to it a couple of times, and I found it to be clunky and predictable, and I just couldn't get a hold. I couldn't. It couldn't grasp me, I suppose to speak.
Yeah.
It couldn't grab onto it.
No, fair enough.
Well,
I've
got 2 more.
Oh, you got more? Sorry,
I've got 2 more.
Oh, go.
Next one is only reasonably new one. It's becoming a disappointment just because of how slow it's taking me to do anything, and that's Need for Speed.
Ah, yep.
So another one that I was really looking forward to trying.
Well,
I'm still working on the review for it, but that disappointment factor is the fact that sitting here now, I can sort of go, I don't think I'm going to finish it.
Well, to be fair, if we've got Final Fantasy in this year's, that one's for next year, isn't it?
No, it just come in.
Oh, did it? Did it?
Yes.
Okay, I was just being facetious anyway.
That's all right. I wasn't listening.
Lovely.
And as much as I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that will question this decision, my biggest letdown for 2017 was, in fact, GT Sport.
Yeah. No, I don't think you'll be criticised too much for that. I reckon that's probably a fair call.
Again,
big claim.
There's no negativity to back up that claim. It's just that I was expecting so much more.
Yeah, because it had a big claim.
It looked fantastic. It feels okay. It doesn't grab me as a sim, but kind of that halfway between spot. But the fact that when it released, it didn't have a campaign, but now it does. The fact that the VR, you can... Well, there was a new update added to it. I haven't actually checked it out yet.
Okay.
The VR side of it, as it feels fantastic. It's immersive. It looks brilliant. It plays brilliant. I'm doing stupidly quick lap times, but I can't do enough laps. It's the fact that it is still a tech demo.
Yeah.
That's it's a tech demo that's been tarted up. Really, there's too many negatives that outweigh the gorgeous finish that it has.
Yeah, fair enough.
Goes to show, doesn't it? Goes to show a lot when GT Sports so beautiful and really not grabbing you, but Project Cars 2 with less graphics is a superior game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice
Definitely.
one. All right. Was that all?
So that's it for me.
That's it. All right. Well, I've just come up with, and this was just while Deb was talking, I've just come up with a name for the dishonourable mentions, or maybe not necessarily for the dishonourable mentions because it might be a bit too harsh, but I want to introduce, and we'll do this next year too, is the Wander Award.
And dishonourable mentions harsh?
No. Wander Award is too harsh for some of the games you guys have mentioned. So I think dishonourable mention may stay, but there's got to be a Wander Award as well because I've got a game for the Wander Award.
Yep. Okay.
If anyone listening doesn't know what I'm talking about, Wander is probably the worst excuse for a game that I've played ever. So, the Wander Award will go to the worst game that I've played this year. And the winner of my Wander Award for 2017, I've only got one. Was that a drum roll?
It was a very quiet drum roll.
Oh, all right. I can add drum rolls if you want a drum roll.
Excellent. That's good. You handled that.
I'll look after that. Is...
Suspense.
Suspense is killing me.
That's not a drum roll.
I thought you were putting it in after.
I was, but I was going to add it now. Okay, that was a drum track. All right, I'll add it later.
That's actually a perfect way to send off the Wander Award.
Okay.
So bad.
Drum rolls, please.
This year's Wander Award is going to a game that I played. It wasn't good, it was terribly bad, and it's called The Troll and I. How's that?
Wow.
What was worse, the game or my rap?
Yeah.
Just
At
trying
least
to make
the game can get an update.
just making the game feel better. Troll and I gets my Wonder Award. Wonder Award. Either of you actually play that game?
I have got it on my. What is it on there? I don't know what it's on. It's on one of them.
Oh yeah, it'd be on the
box. I think.
No, PlayStation.
No? Okay.
I think
over there.
I think it's exclusive, wasn't it?
Maybe, but I downloaded it 2 weeks ago because there was a big update that claimed to fix a lot of those questionable issues.
Yeah, whatever. Oh no, it's cross platform.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one we've got it on, but yeah, I downloaded it on one of them and haven't put it to test yet.
It wasn't good. Wasn't good at all. Bad.
Oh dear.
I must admit, I had high hopes for it when I first saw the release information.
Yeah, so did I. I thought it looked great. Anyway, that's all good. All right. Have you guys got an honourable mention list?
Yes.
Just punch through them. We're running late, so just give us what you got.
All right. Most of these are there because I haven't played them and I want to. Mario, Wolf, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yes, me too.
South Park and Star Wars. So South Park and Star Wars, I've played both of them, but didn't quite make it in my list.
Didn't make it in your list. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
What do you got, Deb? You got honourables?
Yep, again for the same sort of reason in that I just haven't been able to play them and I want to. Horizon Zero Dawn, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, Uncharted Lost Legacy, even Friday the 13th looked like a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Rhyme, have you guys seen much about Rhyme?
Rhyme, yeah,
that does look pretty cool.
I've played Rhyme.
Beautiful little game, right? I want to sink my teeth into that.
Hang on, Rhyme. No, I'm thinking of Rise and Shine. No, I haven't played Rhyme.
Very different. And you know what? I want to get my hands on Crash Bandicoot because that was one of the first games that I played on PlayStation 1 and I want to play it again.
Sounds like someone needs to get a PlayStation for Christmas.
A PlayStation, right? All the games that didn't make it in my list and made it on the honourables. I need a PlayStation, guys.
Yes, you do.
I do.
All right. I'll give you my honourable list. Yeah, for me, slightly different. I've played a lot of most of these games if I haven't finished them, the ones that can be finished. They're just honourable mentions because they just got bumped off the top 10. Human Fall Flat. Played that a lot in the last week and I love it. Butcher. It was a game that I reviewed earlier this year and it was amazing. It's a great little side-scroller. Knack 2. Awesome game. I love the first one and the second one was great. The Evil Within 2, thought the first one was absolutely horrible. And the Evil Within 2 sort of redeemed itself a little bit. While it is a ridiculous game, still fun. It was a good game. Sniper Elite 4, The Lost Legacy, if it's allowed in top 10, it's allowed in honourable mentions. Fortnite, is that allowed? No, that's not allowed.
No,
I said that last week.
No.
It's on honourable mentions though. Come on. In honourable mentions. Maybe not for Game of the Year because it's early access where we're talking about PUBG's not allowed and all that. But Fortnite, for an honourable mention, great game. And Forza 7 was in there as well. So there you go. All right. Now, our last lists, I've gone overboard with mine, so I'll fly through mine. But we've got most anticipated for 2018. So
I think we're going to get a couple of double ups here.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. All right, well, how about I'll go through my massive list, and if there's anything on there that isn't, like anything that I've missed that you have, well, you guys can mention it. First one is the most bloody obvious one, and if it's not on either of your lists, I'm hanging up on you now, and it's The Last of Us 2, which I'm expecting for late 2018. I don't care what anybody else is saying, it'll be late next year, it won't be early. Days Gone, Far Cry 5, Monster Hunter World.
Yep.
A Way Out. You know that one?
Yep.
Yep. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yes.
State of Decay 2. Anthem.
Yes.
Skull and Bones.
Yes.
God of War.
Yes.
Moss.
Yes.
I still play that.
Detroit.
Have come around, never go.
Yeah. Detroit Become Human.
Yes.
Death Stranding.
Yes.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Very nice.
What
I've only got one that wasn't on that list.
What's that?
And it's actually my number one most anticipated, again, because of how much fun I perceive it to be.
Well, I think I know what this is.
You do?
I think so.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That.
Yeah,
That's-
I perceive it as being an absolute time sink and so much fun.
Hmm.
I hope it is, but it's not really on my radar. You know what? Because I had a bad experience with it already.
Yeah.
But
Well, I got the email the other day. I get to try the beta out in a week. 2
Oh,
weeks.
me
of it.
nice, let me know. I'll jump in with you.
Sweet.
But yeah, look, my bad experience, it's just in the back of my head. It was a bad experience because it was boring. There was nothing to do.
Yeah, but that's because there was no one there.
And it was like the very first beta test they ever did. So there was nothing of the game. And I'm not judging it on that, but it's kind of like a subliminal thing, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I've put it to the back of my mind because it didn't excite me.
So, See, I haven't played it yet. I've been in the insider program since it was available, and I still didn't get the code. And now I get to try it out, and I just see it being, you know, you won't be able to play it by yourself. You're going to need a crew. You're going to just be able to cause havoc, and it's going to be. Fingers crossed, it's going to be awesome.
Cool.
Yep, I'm hoping so.
What did I miss for you, Deb? Anything?
Just 2 more for me.
What
The Ghost of Tsushima, which I'm surprised Snoogs didn't have. And another one which I don't know if you guys are familiar with, GTFO. Have you heard about GTFO?
No. I say that a lot.
Yeah, right. It's a 4-player co-op game. And it's very, from everything I'm seeing, it's very intense, very Doom-esque. So it's, you know, lots of things running at you. You've got to mow them down. But it's 4-player co-op, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Oh, it's on
So I'm
Steam
hoping.
already? No, it's on Steam for pre-order, I think.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's intense. It looks great.
The graphics look pretty.
Yeah, right?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, that...
Right, we're on board for that one now?
Is that coming to Xbox?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks sick.
Yeah.
Work together or die together.
Or
GTFO.
die together, yeah.
Mostly the second one. Looks like a lot of fun.
Oh,
For me, that looks like a potential new Destiny. I'm like, ooh.
I don't say that.
Oh, well, not, you know. The way I envision Destiny is being your awesome co-op experience.
It's all sci-fi and stuff. What is that? It's alien hordes.
Right?
It looks very aliens.
Uh-huh.
Like the aliens don't look like aliens, but like the atmosphere. Oh, they're exploding. That's sick.
Right?
Yeah, righto. That's a good one.
I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, well, I am now. There we go. All right. Well, that's it. We're done. One last little bit of business I want to get out of the way before we finish the show. Let's just tie up what's that sound from last week for the year. All right. Last week we had this sound. Hey Deb, you said you haven't listened to the show yet. Do you know what that sound is?
I could take a guess, but I don't think I'll be right.
Well, let's have that guess.
Is it from The Last of Us?
Good guess. Yes, it is. It's the clickers.
Yay!
It's the clickers.
Hey!
Yes!
Not bad from an Xbox girl.
And the crowd goes wild.
Oh, well, I did play that before, went to the dark side.
Converted.
But what, PS3 days or something?
Yeah.
Very good. Yes, that's what it was. And we had James Pearson and Zach Courtney get the right answers, where it's only
And
Monday.
Snoogs.
And Snoogs, yes.
And
Snoogs.
Ram.
And Ram.
And Rem. We all got it right.
Yay.
Good job.
So it's only Monday. The podcast, last week's podcast, only came out yesterday, so not a lot of answers as yet. My apologies for people that get it later in the week if we don't give you a shout out, because I can't look into the future, and these shows are pre-recorded. So sorry, but that's what that sound was last week, and that was the last one. There's no new one for this week, and we are going on holidays. We're going to be on break. This is the last show for 2017. Let's have one last words. Snoogs, you got any last words?
No.
Okay. Rem, any last words?
Also not much, but thank you guys for having me on the show once again. It's always a lot of fun.
No worries. Thanks for coming in.
All good. All good. We love having you on. My last words, I've got some last words. I'll just the typical things, and I don't want to make this sound trivial. This is actually really important. Thank you very much to everybody that listens to our show. Whether you've listened to one show, 2, 3, all of them, we appreciate it. Every single time somebody listens to our show, it gets a little tick next to the box saying that somebody listened to the podcast. And it doesn't matter where you're listening to it. If you watch it on YouTube, if you listen to it on Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iTunes, wherever. It's available everywhere. We appreciate it. Also, everybody from our Facebook community, everybody from our YouTube community, thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts for your support. Without the community, we're kind of just talking to ourselves, and it's a bit silly, isn't it? So, the community are a very important part. Also, another next tier up, a little bit higher. Thank you to everybody that's provided user-created content for the year, because that's essentially part of our show. So without that, that part of the show doesn't exist. So thank you very much. There's a lot. I don't want to name people because I know I'll forget names, and I don't want to upset anyone. You all know who you are. If you've played any part of the creation of this show, no matter how small or large, we appreciate it, and we say thank you right now. Also, to the people that write in and have a go at the What's That Sound? What's That Sound is towards the end of the show. Kind of makes me think that you've listened to most of the show. If you haven't, just skip to it. I don't know. Either way, I'm fine with that.
We'll take it. Yep.
All good. Also, a special thanks to yourself, Snoogs. Thank you very much for jumping into the role of co-host. You were sort of just
thanks for having me, mate.
Thrown in there, and no, look, it's been my pleasure. You have taken to this role like you've been doing it for years, and I'm very impressed with that.
More than 6 episodes, at least.
More than 6 episodes, yes. I'm glad you're keeping count. You belter. Yes, you've done an immaculate job, whether it be on the podcast, on the Facebook page, for YouTube with the reviews you've done have been fantastic. Also, behind the scenes when we're going to events, we had a great time in the Gold Coast this year with EB Expo and all the coverage. It was an amazing year, and I'm glad to have spent it with yourself. Same goes for you, Deb, as well as your lovely hubby. He is absolutely included as well. So I think that's it. I think that's all I needed to say.
Well, now that you've said that, I might throw in one extra as well.
Okay.
Well, apart from thanks to yourself, mate, because without you, I don't think any of us would bother. One of the big things that blows me away every week is our international people.
Yeah, quite a good
we've reached all 4 corners of the globe, where we've got people all over the world that are jumping in and tuning in and liking Aussie Gamers Express.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic feeling to know that we have people in our friends list that their name isn't even English. It's not in English. I don't know what language it's actually written in, but it's not in English. I don't understand it, but they're still they're occasionally checking in and seeing it out. So that's a fantastic feeling to see. But yeah, mate, above all else, thanks for the great year.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. It's been awesome.
No worries. Thank you for coming along for our rides and journeys. All right. Well, I think we'll pull the plug on that one, and we'll tell everybody that we'll see us next year. Don't know when yet.
For the big 200.
Yes, so our first episode of 2018 will be episode 200. It's going to
We've
give
got to
us...
work out what we're going to do.
That's it. It's going to give us plenty of time to work out between now and then what we're going to do.
Yeah, just to figure out how we can go about it.
If you listen to this podcast and you're not a follower on our Twitter, Aussie Gamers 12, or on our Facebook page, that's the best place for you to go right now, considering the podcast is going to be on hiatus, on holiday. So we'll give updates via those avenues as to when we'll be back, and possibly some information on what we'll actually be doing for episode 200. So,
and don't forget YouTube.
Yes, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, because although we're on holidays from the podcast, there's still going to be videos going up. I can't help myself. I'll be making videos there. So there'll still be content coming across, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So go and check out that. That'll be great.
And you and I, well, how about a bit of a tidbit?
What?
A last little tidbit for the show, where you and I have spoken about throwing something a little different up on YouTube.
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, that's something I want to talk to you over the holidays about, putting together a new show that'll be...
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll be sporadic episodes or if it'll be...
An excuse for us to get together and have a few beers so the wives don't complain.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's something we're going to nut out, but there is going to be... There is going to be more content coming in the future. Something a little bit different that we hope can hit some good highs. A little teaser there. All right, I'm done. Thanks everyone for listening. We love you all. Hopefully I've portrayed that. Just quickly, it's probably a bit late now, but thank you to everybody that has supported us as well. Like, this is why I don't like naming names, because I always forget people. Bluemouth Interactive, there's Virtual Earth Online, there's Relentless Controls Australia. This is all off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of them. Come on, brain. Edifier, Sony, Microsoft, Ubisoft, all of them. Bethesda, yeah.
EA.
Yep, EA's helped us out. There's just so many. Thank you to everybody. If you guys know who you are, if you're listening, I don't know. Probably too busy. But been amazing. It's been an amazing year. All right. That's enough rambling, I think. Thanks, everyone. As always, and for the last time this year, I am Lucas.
I'm Ramutha.
And I am Snoogs. We'll see you next year.
Hooroo.
See ya.
Well, here we are once again at the end of this week's show. If you're still hungry for more video game content, head over to the Aussie Gamers Express Facebook page and give us a like. We also have a heavy presence over on Twitter, so give @AussieGamers12 a follow, and also our YouTube channel is there waiting for you to give it the love that it deserves. This podcast is available for your convenience through iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn Radio. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you all on the next episode of the Aussie Gamers Express Video Game Podcast.